Okay, now it is visible.
Yes.
So conjugate of a complex number, if z is a complex number, z is a complex number of a plus iota b, then its conjugate is obtained by changing the sign of imaginary part, only imaginary part. Just this is very important, that we have to change the sign of only imaginary part. Okay, and it is denoted by z bar. If we are putting z bar, denoted by z bar. So therefore z bar will be equal to a minus iota b. Correct. So for example, if z is equal to minus 2 plus 3 iota, then its conjugate will be equal to what? We have to change the sign of only imaginary part, that is 3 iota. Here it is plus 3 iota, it will become minus 3 iota. Okay. Or if it is suppose you have minus 2 minus 3 iota, then its conjugate z bar will be equal to minus 2 plus 3 iota. So we don't have to change the sign of a real part, only the imaginary part will be changed. So we can have some questions. Suppose if we have given the question, simplify 9 minus iota conjugate plus 6 plus iota cube conjugate minus 9 plus iota square conjugate. So I'll start from here. So 9 minus iota, conjugate of 9 minus iota means 9 plus iota. Here first you have to find the iota cube. As you know, iota cube is equal to minus iota. So this is nothing but this is 6 minus iota. Therefore it will become 6 plus iota. And iota square is equal to minus 1. So minus 9 minus 1. Minus 9 minus 1 is minus 10. And this iota plus iota will become 2 iota. 9 plus 6, 15 minus 10. And conjugate of only real part is the number itself. Suppose you are given a complex number 2, then its conjugate will be 2 because here is 0. 0 is the imaginary part, so 0 cannot be changed with the sign. So that's why its conjugate will be same. So 15 minus 10, so we get plus 5. So 2 plus 2 iota plus 5. So there are some properties of conjugate that you should know. Properties of conjugate. Properties of conjugate of a complex number. Number one, if we take, obviously, if the conjugate we will take, we are changing the sign plus to minus. Again, if we will change minus to plus, so we get the number itself. 2 times taking conjugate of a number will give you the number itself. And when you are adding a number with its conjugate, you can see, for example, if you have a complex number 2 plus 3 iota, then its conjugate will be 2 minus 3 iota. If you add them, you will get only 4. So only 2 times, actually 2 times 2, it is coming 2 times 2. So real part will become 2 times. So we can say that sum of the number with the conjugate will be equal to 2 times the real part of the complex number. Similarly, if you will subtract, this minus will become plus and this will become minus, so this will become 2 times. So if you are subtracting z minus conjugate of z, you get 2 times imaginary part of z will be left with 2 times. And fourth property, if a number is equal to its conjugate, so it is possible only when it is a pure real number, when z is a pure real number. Z is purely real, because as I told you, if z is a complex number 2 plus 0 iota, that means it is having only real part, then its conjugate will be 2 only, so that is here. And similarly, if the addition of 2 means a number, suppose 3 iota, here real part is 0, 3 iota is added, z is 3 iota, and its conjugate will be minus 3 iota. If you will add them, you will get 0. So if the sum of the conjugate with its complex number is 0, then z is purely imaginary number. Only iota part will come, real part will not come. Okay. Similarly, if you are multiplying a number with its conjugate, then you can write the real part, square of the real part directly plus square of the imaginary part. So you can take one example and you can do it. You will find this result. Okay. Then you have to find the conjugate of the sum. If two numbers you are adding and then their conjugate you are taking, or if you are taking the conjugate of z1 and adding with the conjugate of z2, same thing, the result will be same. Same thing will happen for subtraction. Z1 minus Z2 conjugate will be equal to Z1 conjugate minus Z2 conjugate. Okay. Then multiplication also. In multiplication, if you are multiplying two numbers Z1 into Z2, and their whole conjugate will be equal to the product of their individual conjugates, Z1, Z2 conjugate. Okay. And similarly for division, Z1 upon Z2 and its whole conjugate will be equal to Z1 conjugate divided by Z2 conjugate. But here, provided this condition should be followed, provided Z2 should not be equal to 0 and Z2 conjugate should not be equal to 0, otherwise it will become infinity. Okay. So conjugate plays a very important role. See, for example, if you have to find, so you have seen that if a plus iota b, when it is multiplied with its conjugate a minus iota b, so you will get what, a square plus b square, correct? So on this property, there are many questions in your textbook. Also, we are taking one question that is from your textbook only. X plus iota y is equal to a square plus 1 whole square divided by 2a minus 1. Then find x square plus y square. So what we will do, we will find the conjugate of this number. After that, we can multiply them. So here right hand side you can see it is a real number. There is no iota on right hand side. So its conjugate will be the same number, x minus iota y will be equal to a square plus 1 whole square upon 2a minus 1. Okay, got it? Let me see this question once. Sorry, this is 2a minus iota. The question is wrongly copied. 2a minus iota. That's why right side it should be iota. So this is not 1. This is iota. So whenever, as I told you before also, whenever we have a iota in the denominator, first we have to bring it in the numerator. In order to bringing the iota from numerator to denominator, we have to multiply and divide by its conjugate. So 2a minus iota is its, so its conjugate will be equal to 2a plus iota. And one more thing I want to tell you here, this is the one way, but this way you will get a very big result. So another way is you can directly write, if wherever iota is given, its conjugate x minus iota y will be equal to, because this is a real number, a square plus 1 whole square, this will not change, and in the denominator only, because we have seen that if conjugate is whole conjugate of the quotient will be the conjugate of this and conjugate of this. So we can just change the conjugate, means change the sign of the imaginary number. So these two we got, this is the given equation, this is our equation got from the conjugate. Okay, now we can multiply them. So now when you multiply, you are getting this result. Left side you are multiplying with x plus iota y, multiply with x minus iota y, and right side you have already the values, a square plus 1 whole square divided by 2a minus iota into a square plus 1 whole square upon 2a minus iota. Okay, so denominator is again the product of a number with its conjugate, that is the square of the sum of the square, 2a square plus 1 square, and numerator will become a square plus 1 the power 4, square plus square will become 4 power. So we get the answer as a square plus 1 raised to power 4 divided by 4a square plus 1. Okay, so one more question is there. In that question, because of the root, you should first remove the root. Okay, inside you can remove the root. Next question, if we have given x plus iota y is equal to under root 1 plus iota upon 1 minus iota, then prove that, here we have to prove that x square plus y square is equal to 1. So because of this root, we will first try to remove this root inside. So in order to that, we have to solve this given x plus iota y. So x plus iota y, how can we solve x plus iota y? 1 plus iota and 1 minus iota. We are going to remove iota from the denominator. So iota 1 plus iota. By doing this, the denominator because there is a problem getting in the connection. You can listen to me, just tell me. Okay. Okay, can you listen to me now? Yes. Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can write by changing 1 minus iota. Only the imaginary part will be changed. So this is our equation number 1. This is our equation number 2. Multiply them, x plus iota y, multiply with x minus iota y left side, and right side we are getting 1 plus iota by root 2, multiply with 1 minus iota by root 2. So this will become 1 square plus 1 square, root 2 into root 2, 2. So 1 square plus 1 square, that is equal to 2. So 2 upon 2 is equal to 1. We got the result. And left side is what? X square plus y square. So therefore we got x square plus y square is equal to 1. Okay. So this is about the conjugate. And this is the way to solve the conjugate of a complex number. Now we have next part, that is modulus of a complex number. Okay. So modulus of a complex number, of a complex number. So modulus is actually is a non-negative real number. Under root, if z is a, you can understand by this, if z is a complex number of a plus iota b, then its modulus is, a non-negative. Why I'm telling non-negative? Non-negative real number under root a square plus b square, means real part plus square root of the sum of the squares of the real and imaginary part, and it is denoted by z modulus. So we got that the modulus can be, we can find out the modulus by using under root a square plus b square. Okay, imaginary part and real part. For example, we have to find the modulus of, modulus of 4 plus 3 iota raised to power 7. So first we have to solve iota raised to power 7. So as you know that iota raised to power 7, we can write iota square 4 and iota cube 4, 5, 6, 7. And iota square is -1, again -1, and iota cube is minus iota, as you know. So 3 times negative, so minus iota. So 4 minus 3 iota. So therefore we have given as 4 minus 3 iota. This is the given complex number. Now we have to find the modulus of this number. Modulus of this number is the sum of the squares of a and b, and a is the real part, which is 4 here, and b is the imaginary part, which is -3. Do not take iota, as I told you in the beginning. So we have to write, although square will give you the positive value, but we should write the correct value of b. So 4 the 16 and 3 3 the 9. 16 plus 9, 25. and root of 25 will become 5. Okay. So like this, we can find the modulus. Now, one more thing that we have in our course. In the starting, I told you if Z is a complex number A plus iota B, we can represent it as a ordered pair, correct? Ordered pair A and B. A and B, as you know that in an ordered pair, the first coordinate is X coordinate. So we can represent this ordered pair on coordinate system, on our coordinate system X axis and Y axis. For example, if we have suppose a number 2 plus 3 iota, so that is it is represented by 2 and 3. So on a plane, actually this X is a X axis. On X axis we are representing the real part, so that's why it is called real axis. Real axis. And actually we are representing 3 iota, so that's why this is called imaginary axis. It is called Cartesian axis or imaginary axis. Okay, imaginary axis, imaginary axis. That's why we cannot say it as a Cartesian coordinate system. The name of the system is Argent plane. This plane on which we are representing the complex number, this plane is called Argent plane. This is called Argent plane. So like this, we can represent similarly that we are doing in the Cartesian coordinate system 1, 2, 3, 4. So on x-axis we have 2, on y-axis 1, 2, 3. So 2 and 3 are coming at this point P. So P is represented. So here P is represented by 2 and 3. So do not confuse with the Cartesian coordinate system because this is an imaginary part. This 3 is an imaginary part, 2 is real part, not an imaginary part. Okay, because this axis is representing the imaginary point and this is real. So that's why it is called Argent plane. Now one more thing you have seen last time, we have seen Cartesian coordinate system. There is one more system that is called polar coordinate system. Polar coordinate system is, see, this is x-axis, this is our y-axis. Okay. Now, as you have seen the Cartesian coordinate system, this is x-axis and this is your y-axis. Okay. By mistake I put on erase, that's why it happened. Okay, so this is, suppose this point, so x-axis and y-axis. So now this point P is represented by, you have seen that x coordinate and y coordinate. If you will drop a perpendicular here, this distance is x coordinate, and when you drop a perpendicular here, this distance you are getting y coordinate. So that's why this is called x and y coordinates. And when we are joining, this is representing x and y. But there is another system of representing the point that is called polar coordinate system. Polar coordinate system. In polar coordinate system, a point is represented by its distance from the origin, let it be r, and the angle in the positive direction which the line making with x-axis. This is x-axis, correct? This is y-axis. So y dash. So therefore this is called theta. So this point P can be represented, this point P can be represented as r and theta. R and theta, what r and theta are
polar coordinates. These are called polar coordinates. These are called polar coordinates. Like these are called Cartesian coordinates. These are called polar coordinates. Okay. So one thing we can see that this is the distance on y-axis, that is y. So we can, if we draw, there is a relation between polar coordinates and Cartesian coordinates. If we draw up a perpendicular from here to here, we are getting this distance will be y and this distance is x. So POM, suppose let it be m, then by Pythagoras theorem, in Pythagoras theorem, we can say that r square is equal to x square plus y square. So this is the relation between x square and y square. And if you find sine theta here, sine theta is equal to opposite side upon hypotenuse y upon r. Correct? So ka you remember cos theta is equal to x upon r. So we can say that here x is equal to r cos theta and y is equal to r sine theta. So x square plus y square means if you will put here x square plus y square is equal to x is equal to x cos theta, y is equal to r sine theta, then its square will be equal to r square, obviously right hand side if you will put. So this is the relation between Cartesian coordinate system and polar coordinate system. Okay, you can see that if you will put an x square plus y square, you can x square plus y square is equal to x cos theta whole square plus r cos theta whole square plus r sin theta whole square. Okay, on squaring we can put on both square r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. If you take r square common, you are having sin square theta plus cos square theta. Either you write cos square theta plus sin square theta, or sin square theta plus cos square theta, both are same. And you know this identity is 1, so r square. So we got this result. Okay, so this is the relation between. Now one more thing, if sin theta is divided by cos theta, dividing first by means this first equation is divided by second equation, the sin theta upon cos theta will become tan theta, and r will cancel, we get y by x. So theta is equal to tan inverse trigonometry. You have not gone through it, will be in next class. But this theta angle is called the amplitude or argument of a complex number. This angle theta, this theta is called amplitude. Next time we will find out how to find the amplitude. Amplitude, and so this is called amplitude, or another name of this is argument. So now we will see what is argument, amplitude. So argument of z. So theta is amplitude or argument of z. Now principal argument. Argument, as you know, that theta can be between many two values. So we have to bring the principal argument. So in principal argument, in principal argument, this theta that we have seen, theta is equal to what? Tan inverse. We have seen tan inverse y upon x. correct? So tan inverse y upon x. This is called principal argument, but if theta is, it is argument if the theta is between minus 180 degree to 180 degree, then it is called principal argument theta. If this equal to this in this range, then theta is called principal argument. Principal argument. That we will study in the next class. Argument and polar coordinate system. Okay. The next class I scheduled at 12:10, but because of some problem, meeting is there in the school, so I'm teaching from the school, so that will be taken later on.